Every great nation has a beginning. This is the story behind the birth of Israel. Long before the nation of Israel existed, God called a man named Abraham from his home in Ur of the Chaldeans. God commanded him to leave his homeland and journey to a land that he would reveal. God established a covenant with Abraham, declaring that he would become the father of a great nation. His descendants would inherit the land of Canaan. Through his family, all the nations of the earth would be blessed. This covenant became the foundation of Israel's history. Years later, despite their old age, God fulfilled his promise by giving Abraham and Sarah a son named Isaac. Isaac married Rebekah, and they had twin sons, Esau and Jacob. God later changed Jacob's name to Israel, signifying the beginning of a nation. Israel had 12 sons, who became the patriarchs of the 12 tribes of Israel. Among Israel's sons, Joseph rose to prominence after becoming a powerful ruler in Egypt. Because of the famine, Israel and his entire family migrated to Egypt, where they settled under Joseph's protection. Over the following centuries, their descendants multiplied into a great people. However, after Joseph's generation passed away, a new pharaoh arose who no longer remembered Joseph's service. Fearing Israel's growing population, the Egyptians enslaved them, forcing them into generations of harsh labor and oppression. God raised up Moses to deliver his people from slavery. Instead of entering Canaan immediately, the Israelites wandered in the wilderness for 40 years because of their unbelief and repeated disobedience. Although an entire generation died in the wilderness, God remained faithful to his promise, preparing a new generation to inherit the land. Before entering Canaan, Moses died after viewing the promised land from afar. God appointed Joshua, Moses' faithful assistant, as the new leader of Israel. Joshua's mission was to lead the nation across the Jordan River and conquer the land God had promised to Abraham. When the Israelites arrived at the Jordan River, it was overflowing its banks during the harvest season. God instructed the priests carrying the Ark of the Covenant to step into the rushing water first. The moment their feet touched the river, God miraculously stopped the flow upstream. The riverbed became dry, allowing the entire nation of Israel to cross safely into the promised land. The first major obstacle before Israel was the heavily fortified city of Jericho, surrounded by massive defensive walls. Rather than relying on conventional military tactics, God instructed Joshua to have the Israelites march around the city once each day for 6 days, while priests blew trumpets before the Ark of the Covenant. On the 7th day, they marched around the city 7 times. At Joshua's command, the priests sounded the trumpets, and the people shouted with one mighty voice. By God's power, the walls of Jericho collapsed, allowing Israel to enter and capture the city. Israel attacked the nearby city of Ai. Surprisingly, the first assault ended in defeat. God revealed that Achan, one of the Israelites, had violated his command by secretly taking items devoted to destruction from Jericho. His disobedience brought judgment upon the nation. After Achan's sin was dealt with, God instructed Joshua to attack Ai again. This time, Joshua employed a strategic ambush. Part of the army concealed themselves behind the city, while the main force appeared to retreat. Believing Israel was fleeing, the soldiers of Ai pursued them. Leaving the city unprotected, the hidden force entered Ai, set it on fire, and captured it, securing a decisive victory for Israel. Israel continued its campaign throughout Canaan, facing coalitions of powerful kings and larger armies. Again and again, God granted Joshua victory. With the major battles won and the land secured, the Israelites settled throughout Canaan according to the inheritance assigned to each of the 12 tribes. They established cities, cultivated the land, and built homes, transforming the promised land into their permanent homeland. Under Joshua's leadership, Israel was firmly established as a nation in the land God had promised to Abraham centuries earlier. What began with God's call to one man had grown into a covenant people, united under his law and living in the inheritance he had faithfully fulfilled.